Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I have a tricky rack, 6 vowels. I could play agio, keeping 3 vowels, but that's only 10 points. I'm going to change. And quite tricky to know what to keep. Certainly I'd like to keep an E, but I don't want to keep a vowel-heavy rack leave. So I think I'll keep age. And that hasn't really paid off. Still a lot of vowels, including 3 A's, and no scoring tiles. But I think I'll probably play through this. I've got a gate on my rack, keeping ET, or AT rather, which isn't too bad. But I'm going to struggle to score. Great, a gate does play, parallel to Vrow. Do I have any plays through Vrow which are better? I don't think so. So, a gate for 20. That's looking a little bit better. Could well be some 7s with this rack. Agitator through an A. What about the floating E? Well, I'm not seeing anything through that. And what about the V? Can't see anything beginning with that. A few 2-letter sets to consider. None of them particularly promising. However, this rack is certainly too good to change. Onto an R, I would have grattoir. And opponent plays Folia after spending 12 or 13 minutes on that play. So I'm guessing he had something to attend to. Now, this is good news. I have an A for agitator for 80 points. Not too bad, all duplicates and balanced. And I've got the L to go with the Y, and the U and the N go well together, but unmelty, not good yet. I'm not seeing any 7s with this rack, or any 8s. But a play of yum, or something similar, would be good. I don't particularly like ELNT as a rack leave, far too vulnerable to drawing an additional consonant. Replicating one on my rack. 31 points for my opponent. So what is the board offering? Well, I note that my U can go next to the T. So I've got YU down here. That's not great. I've also got the same play above the O and R. But that's keeping 4 consonants with the vowel. Surely I can do better than that. So what about a play down here? I've got menu, keeping LTY. The Y quite useful for hooking arm. Let me see what that looks like. So 29 points, a decent score. Rack leave pretty poor. Can I do better? I don't have anything to go in front of NA. Let me just put this back. I'd like to play something a little bit better than this. I've also got menu this side, and that provides fewer bingo lanes. 27 points, 2 fewer points. Do I have anything beginning MUN or MUT? Mutely. Now that's looking a bit better. 39 points and a decent rack leave. I'm going with this. I keep an N. I draw 2 more N's and an O, so I'm not drawing well at the moment, but I do have a 40 or 50 point lead. just 1 pointers on my rack. I guess a play of noun would sort the rack out. Can't see anywhere for that at the moment. Mutely is fairly killing to the left. Nothing goes in front of more or in front of Taff. I could play Nouny. Okay, 35 points for my opponent. A good score for him. That's 16 points. I don't think I'm going to do much better than that. I don't think these floaters are massively useful. Opponent could have a high play in row O, but I don't think it's going to be hugely high. Nouny for 16. Great! I see an S and a blank. Fantastic. So, I may not be able to bingo this turn, but hopefully I will soon. And I've got a lead of 30 or 40 points. Now a play of Zal would leave a very good rack leave. There could be a bingo with this rack. I'm just wondering if Arf takes an S. It does, so column 10 is a 7-letter bingo lane for bingos ending in S. And so is column 15 now. So I don't want to miss out on a bingo. Although I note I can play Les and Zoe here for 48 points. So even if I did have a bingo, it wouldn't necessarily be better than playing Les. I'm going with Les. Wow. Having commented in my previous video about my opponent having all the blanks and all the S's, I'm on the receiving end of such providence in this game. I have Censors on my rack, which will play in column 10, my opponent taking out the Carver's hook. Censors does place an S in the middle of row A. Do I have a play ending Ness? Because that would be one square lower. So RS blank and Nes. No, don't have anything which works there. What about a play just ending ESS? No. So any other bingo lanes? Column 1 for a bingo ending in L. What about column 15, a play ending SAR? That's going to be a tricky one to see. Well, fortunately I do have a bingo. What about a play through TEF? Very unlikely. Just considering a lower placement of censors. But that creates words which aren't good. So censors for 67. I draw the second blank, and this is a pretty balanced rack. I have beasties in row A, and I could have a triple-triple. I'm expecting my opponent to take that out, but I've got beasties in row D as well. So I'm in pretty good shape. I've got a 100-point lead. My opponent's got 5 minutes on his clock. Still 33 tiles to come. Now, let me consider this S. Okay, let me not consider it since my opponent's gone there. Fortunately, only 39 points. So I have beasties in row D, which takes out this useful S floater. What about a play through the N, which would also take the S out, but would score more because of these double letter squares? Well, I've got betanes, but that doesn't get doubled. So I'm considering this rack with an N. Not seen anything yet. Well, that was Thebane. Again, just missing the double word square. Sea Blight from an S. That's the betaine rack. So, still nothing with this rack and an N. What about 8 brine? Well, even if it's good, it doesn't hit the double word square. That's betaines. Okay, now what about column 1 ending in L? Can't see anything, so I'm going with betaines. For 68. Well, a pretty clunky rack, but I've got a 130-point lead, so I'm in good shape. And not too many bingo lanes on this board. I've got the J, which is a good scoring tile. Row O, slightly hot because of the hooks for ZO. None of which are on my rack. A play of Jew might be available somewhere, but the rack lever is going to be pretty poor. Let me check the remaining vowels. 13 out of 28, so slightly vowel light, but not hugely. I don't have to play off the J straight away. I'm looking to play parallel to... Okay, only 30 points for my opponent and he's taken out row O. That's fine by me. So what about a play in row C? It would take out the floaters and it might sort out my rack. So I could play bent. Which isn't going to score very much. I can play went in the same spot, which is going to be better. 20 points, which is just about okay. It is taking out floaters, which is good. It's not providing anything great for my opponent. Rack lead pretty ropey. So what about a play through the E of sensors or through the O? Let me put this back. I've got 11 minutes left. I've got Benge on my rack, but that doesn't play anywhere. Jut is good. That's not much use for me. Now, one of the troubles with went is it doesn't get doubled, so what about a play underneath? I thought for a moment I had noob, but that doesn't play. Except it does up here. 22 points, and it's not taking out the floating E. And this rack leave GJT as opposed to GJB. Tricky. 10 minutes on my clock. I feel there's something better than anything I've thought about so far. But I can't see what it is. Can't see anything through this E. Or the O. There could well be something better. And what about a play parallel to Orexis? Nope, not seeing anything. Okay, I'm going back to my first choice of went for 20 points. Pretty poor. Pretty poor. I'm starting to struggle now, and if my opponent were to bingo, it could be a close end to the game. I'm only 110 points behind, and I've got a really difficult rack. This rack is not going to mature into a bingo before the end of the game. I'm going to be struggling to play off tiles. I'm going to be struggling to get over 20 points. This is a very bad position to be in. All I can see at the moment for the queue is chi and bai. Only 15 points. Pretty grim. I do have a couple of vowels. I don't have to play off the queue straight away, but the sooner I can play it off, the better, I think, because I don't think there's going to be any good queue spots becoming available. However, there are 2 U's to come, so not essential I get rid of it immediately. Now, this is interesting. Opponents opened up column 1 as a triple lane. QI does quite a nice job of killing that. And I'm not seeing anything better, so I'm going with this. Okay, slightly balanced rack. 9 tiles in the bag. Opponent 35 points, so just 80 points behind. Remaining tiles pretty bingo-y. I need to score. I need to get rid of some of my high-scoring tiles. I do now have a nice word on my rack. I've got jibed. I can play that here. 37 points. My opponent may come back with a play down from the J, but after jibed, I'm only leaving 1 tile in the bag, so a play down from J is not going to be a bingo, and my opponent will be emptying the bag and leaving himself with fewer than 7 tiles. So I think the score of 37 points recommends this move to me in addition to the points I've just made. Wow. And my rack does mature into a bingo-y rack. Prior to the end of the game, I would have menacing through an N. N of censors doesn't work. Great, just the 36 points for my opponent. He trails by 80 points. He's got 5 tiles on his rack. The game is won. I don't think there are any bingo lanes on this board. Except there is. There's row J, hooking 4. So, does my rack, 8 minutes on my clock, does my rack make any bingo at all as a 7? I don't think it does. But there is a bingo lane there. And there are no others. So, I'm just wondering if my opponent can go out. Sculp and 4s might be good, but I don't think they are. I think 1 or both are not good. So I need to go out in 2. Just wondering about plays beginning I-N-E. Not seeing anything. Can't play parallel to Carver because nothing goes in front of the V. Well, I'm thinking about playing macing. Let me just check my opponent's possible plays. So he can't stick an S on the end of macing. I think I'll play macing. It's 26 points, which is a good score, and I can definitely go out with the E. And I may have provided my opponent an opportunity to go out, which would be bad. But he's got 2 minutes to find an out. And whatever he finds, he loses. So where's the best place for my E? I've got Ode for 4 points. N and E for 6. Beeb for 9. Yeah, Beeb for 9 is the best I can see. And that's still available, nothing new provided. And the final score, 355 to my opponent, 447 to me, a winning margin of 92 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. It was me to go first. I had this rack of misery. I changed. Nothing better than Agio. Opponent's rack, he plays Vrow. And I have a gate for 20. And I think this is when my opponent went walkabout for a while. And then came back and played Folia. And here we go. Sorry, had an unexpected guest earlier. No problem at all. And I have Agitator at 08. Opponent's rack plays Hin. And I have Mutely for 39, which I was grateful to see because this was a rack I was struggling with. Opponent plays 4. And I play Nowney for 16. Opponent plays Carver. Now, did I miss a bingo here? No, I didn't. Great. Well, I could have gone through the alphabet looking for one, but I made the decision to play Les for 48 on the grounds that even if there was a bingo there, it wouldn't necessarily be better than Les, and I was mindful of my opponent being short on time. I was fairly confident that I would be bingoing next go or the following one. So Les for 48. Opponent plays Par. And now Censors and Sarsens were the only bingos I saw, and they're the only bingos that exist, and they both occupy the same space. So I'm surprised that I felt there was going to be more available. Opponent plays Orexis. Now, surely I missed something good here. So I play something which isn't even down here. For 68, Betia B1 available. Yep, for 9 more points. So there were better plays, but not massively so. Opponent's rack, he plays O. And now my racks for a few moves really deteriorate, but I've got 100 point lead as a cushion. Objet E10, don't like that. Still one S to come, and it provides bingo-y floaters. So I play Went. E4 Newt. Using the same tiles for more points, that would have been a better play. So, but as you can see here, if you look at the scores and the Rackleys, there's nothing super fabulous going on. So Went, not too bad, but Newt certainly would be better. Opponent plays Dude, which is great for me because although I was disappointed with the score for QI, it does a great job strategically in taking out a bingo lane. Opponent plays Oi, and at this point he's reduced the deficit to 80, so he is within a bingo of me. Remaining tiles pretty bingo-y. However, very few bingo lanes on this board. And I'm able to play Jibed for 37 points, which was a great score and really secured the win. Even if my opponent bingos, I don't think he's going to win. Opponent plays Jerd and now trails by about 80 points. And I don't have a bingo, but I do have Macing for 26. Opponent does not have an out. Plays Scup. And I have Beeb or Bibe for 9. So, good game. Nice to be back to winning ways after a succession of losses. This is my first win in the 700s, as in the numbering of the videos, not in terms of my score for this game. So it's good to be back to winning ways. And there was some challenging racks there. Although I won the game fairly comfortably in the end, it wasn't an absolute blast of bingos. There were quite a few non-bingo-y racks which really needed to be thought about. So I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.